Welcome. This is an exercise developed by the psychology team at the Royal Women's Hospital. Self-compassion is the act of offering support and encouragement to ourselves. During this guided exercise, we will focus on self-compassion and on slowing our thoughts and relaxing our bodies. Make sure you are sitting or lying down somewhere safe and comfortable. Please don't listen to this exercise while you're driving. Everything I say will be an invitation, not a directive. So do what is most comfortable for you. Begin by taking a slow, deep breath. Drop your shoulders down away from your ears and let your body soften. Continue breathing gently in through your nose and out through your mouth. Bring yourself into this moment. We often have a million thoughts going on in our heads of what we've been doing, what we're going to do, what we regret, what worries we have. I invite you to set those thoughts aside and give your full attention to what you feel in your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your hands in your lap. Feel the weight of the baby and notice the steady rhythm of your breath. All of these things help us to slow down and bring us into contact with this moment. Through the pregnancy, we are building skills in what we call compassionate attunement to the baby. That means seeing the baby as a separate person, being curious about the baby, and responding kindly to the baby's needs. This is a skill that comes naturally for most of us. We are good at responding kindly and generously to the needs of others, especially our babies. However, we often find it pretty difficult to be gentle and compassionate with ourselves. In fact, we often reserve a particularly harsh and critical standard for ourselves. Sometimes we speak to ourselves in a way we would never speak to another person. There are two reasons why this is the right time to start practicing self-compassion. Firstly, we are responding with care and compassion to the baby, so we're already in the zone. Secondly, this is a really hard time for us in our lives, physically, emotionally, socially, relationally. In every sphere of our lives, things are changing. This is a time that we need all the support we can get. During pregnancy, our nervous system can get quite a workout. We have hormonal changes that can mean we're more reactive and more emotional than usual. Sometimes we are almost hypervigilant. We are naturally attuned to threat and safety, understandably because we have a baby to protect. When we do react emotionally, sometimes in a way that feels unfamiliar to us, how do we respond? Is it with curiosity and gentleness? Many of us respond to ourselves with criticism and judgment. We often say to ourselves, What's wrong with me? Am I losing it? I should be coping better. These thoughts are habits. They're not true and they're not helpful. With practice, we can replace them with something that can work better. Your own nervous system could do with some compassion. When you think about the baby, it's not so hard to be curious, accepting, soothing, and patient. So, as we go through this calming exercise today, we're going to keep highlighting those 4 things. We know you can do this, you have these skills, and you use them with the baby and with other people you love. We encourage you to start practicing turning these skills towards yourself. You are your baby's most important role model. They will learn how to value themselves and care for themselves from how they see you value and care for yourself. Now, I invite you to take a deep breath in and let it slowly go all the way out, feeling your lungs empty. Drop your shoulders and allow yourself to sink into the chair. Compassion requires that we tune in, we notice, and we respond gently and generously. So right now, I want you to notice how you're holding your body. Notice if you're holding it rigidly or softly. If you're poised for action or you're at rest. Be curious. There is no right or wrong. If you're holding yourself more tightly than you need to, what would you like to do? I invite you to make a change if you want to. Do what you need. Now I want you to place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Notice what is happening with your breath. How do you breathe? If we breathe high in our chest, we will build a sense of impatience and panic. It's like speeding things up a bit. If we breathe right down into our bellies, we'll naturally slow things down. In doing so, our body sends a message to our brain, it's safe, we're slowing down. Be curious about where you naturally breathe. If you're breathing up in your chest, experiment with breathing more deeply and see what that's like. Compassion is not about judging. It's about gentleness and curiosity. Notice what it feels like to have your hand on your chest and your hand on your belly. What is that gentle pressure like? We do so little physical soothing of ourselves as adults. For babies, soothing is so important. Your baby will respond to touch and the sound of your voice, not your words. It's all physical. One of the ways we can be compassionate with ourselves is through touch. I'm going to invite you to experiment with a couple of things and be curious Allow yourself to like them or not like them. Just give them a go. First is this feeling of weight you are generating with your hand on your chest and your hand on your belly. Allow your hands to move a little bit. Try patting or rubbing. Notice what that feels like. Some of us will have had experience of this as children or through our lives, of being held and touched or patted. Be curious about what that reminds you of, what echoes there are. Now I invite you to move your hands and hold your opposite arms like you're hugging yourself or giving them a gentle rub. Again, notice what it feels like. And again, I want you to be curious about both the touching and the feeling in your arms, the feeling of being held. You might want to pat your arms. The rhythm of patting our babies is very comforting, and it's interesting to experience what that feels like to pat yourself to offer comfort. I invite you now to think about what you want to say to yourself. If you were being gentle and patient and accepting of yourself and this moment in your life, what might feel right to say? You can try a few things on for size. It might be as simple as, "This is really hard." Or it might be, "I'm doing my best." It doesn't matter what it is that you say, it just needs to feel honest and kind. It might actually be quite uncomfortable to say something positive to yourself. That's the case for many people. But just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not important and worthwhile. You might want to say it out loud. There's something about saying things out loud that creates a sense that we really mean it, that we're backing it. I invite you to place one hand on your chest and really hear and feel the vibrations created by your words as you say them out loud. Changing how we treat ourselves can be hard. You've probably had habits of how you treat yourself for your entire life. Adopting a compassionate way of treating ourselves is a radical act, and it's a huge gift to ourselves and to this baby. It takes work and practice. And I would invite you to keep thinking about it in terms of those 4 things: being curious, being accepting, being soothing, and being patient. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Notice the breath rhythmically going in through the nose and out through the mouth. Self-critical thoughts will come in and out of your mind. When you notice them, you can bring your attention back to the breath. As you breathe in, say your self-compassionate statement. It might be, "This is really hard and I'm doing my best." Then breathe out and let everything go. Every time you do that, you are building a new habit, a kinder way of responding to yourself. And every time you do it, you will make it slightly less uncomfortable and slightly more familiar. Now, I invite you to slowly bring your attention back to the room you're sitting in. Notice the sounds you can hear. Notice the temperature of the air. Notice the light in the room. In your own time, open your eyes and look around.